If you ride thinking you're invincible, you're not. In this video, we're going to make a leather insert that'll fit inside of your pants to help you when you might go down on a motorcycle. It would be helpful if you had a sewing machine and knew how to sew, or knew someone who could do it for you. In the rest of this video, there will be no more monkeying around. I have quite a bit of leather on hand, and I've thought about making an insert for the entire rear portion of the pants out of this leather that I have. Again, this leather just came out of an old leather couch. Suede on one side, smooth on the other. You can see an old hem stitch there. To do that, to install it, to put it in there, I'm not going to sew it in there. I want the pants to be washable. I was going to put loops on the back here that would just simply come out of the pants and fit around the belt to hold them up. So the leather wouldn't show. There'd simply be a loop that would come over and your belt would go through it. And that would hold them up so that they wouldn't sag down in the pants. Now, this is sewn as it is from the couch, but it's too long. It has to go down between the legs if I use the entire thing. And I've just measured down to where the bend is in the crotch, and that turned out to be 15 inches. So 15 inches, I would split this leather up to the 15-inch mark, and then I'd put them in there. I'd sew loops on here that will be held in place by putting the loop to the outside of, say, the belt loop here, so it can't pull backward. And the same, there would be one centered on either side of the center belt loop, and possibly a total of 5 loops in all placed along the upper edge of the leather here that would simply come out and loop down over your belt. And leather will be entirely encased inside the denim. So we'll split this. We'll try the pants on, see how they fit down into the legs, sew some loops on here, and see how it free floats in there. This is all threaded here, stitched together, I mean to say. I marked it at 15 inches from the top up there to right here. I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to stop a little bit short of that, try them on in the pants first, but I have to remove this stitch work here. Okay, as I said, I've split this leather to this point here. I've already tucked them into the pants to see how they fit in there. They seem to fit in there okay, but I won't really know until I get to the end here. I've marked this out here at varying points to where I'm putting these. You can kind of get an idea by the ruler. So there'll be a strap here, strap, 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 strap. That's how many will be on the back side there, and they coincide with where the belt loops are on the back of the blue jeans. So a strap will come around, fit here, 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 here. So that this won't be able to shift around in there, nor will it be able to slide down in. Now I may get really fancy here and place a piece of leather on top of this. As I look at this, this is just another panel off of that couch, and I may very well put this on here, something like this, and sew it along one edge, and we'll go ahead and sew it along the inside edge as well. Just let the end of it here run long. This will be able to be worn with the pants that we put the padding and leather in here and inside here in the pockets. Or this can be worn, it's being made so it could be just slipped into another pair of pants without this. And without this, just any pair of pants. So this will be independent, this will be independent, or they can be worn together. That's what we're looking to do. Okay, I've sewn the loops onto this leather I had showed you. I do use a small lighter on many things that are polyester to melt the thread down and so forth after I sew it, and as well as on these bands to clean them up when you cut it. If you're using strap material like this, a lighter will melt that, and you can press it with your fingers and get opened web and so forth to seal together, and whatever you want to do, it's really handy, so use that tip. Anyway, I went and installed this, and if you were putting these on, you'd want to put the belt through the leather garment before putting the pants on. So I've installed them the way you'd have it, and I'm going to try them on now. Okay, how do they look? This is what they look like installed. You can see the belt loops obviously, but the leather you really don't feel. The padding is yet to be put in on the hips or the legs, but that's not going to interfere with that at all. I do have some more plans to potentially put leather on top here, so I'm going to check that out next, but this feels good. Okay, I have a number of panels from that couch. I had to take the thread out of it, and they're similar to what you see there that has the seam left in it. The pants with this leather panel in it seem to fit quite well. And I've looked at these two panels. I haven't cut any leather yet at all. But in laying these panels on here, I'm trying to figure out exactly where to fit it. And I want it open about like that. But prior to cutting anything and prior to sewing anything, I mentioned that I may sew it here. On the inside, this will be attached here. Currently this panel here weighs 1 pound 3 ounces, so with the addition of 2 more panels, I'm sure it'll weigh in the neighborhood of 2.5 pounds, the leather insert to the pants. So how well it fits in there, I'm not sure. I'm going to tape this on here and try it out. Okay, I've taped this together with duct tape just to see how this is going to work. And I'm going to get into them, probably put them in the pants first, and try them on to see whether or not they fit properly. I haven't cut this at all yet, but I'm going to try it here and sit down in them and sit down on vinyl in them as I would on a motorcycle seat, and try all aspects of the fit out before I decide what to do. Okay, I found a certain stitch that worked on the leather, so I've got it set in about a medium width stitch, and I've got it on a medium zigzag stitch, and I've got a strong polyester type thread in here which doesn't match the color of the leather, but it works well and I have it. So we're being very careful here because I never did cut the leather, and I'm sewing it to the shape along the side of it that it is. So I'm just trying to follow the old stitch lines here. So I'm letting the sewing machine kind of take it as I follow the old stitch lines here to put it on its path that I want. So I've been sewing here for a bit now. You see how I'm able to spread it, and yet I hope it goes back together following those lines. I'm doing an overlap stitch, so I can't see what I'm doing, but I'm following that line as I'm sewing. It's really working quite well, and I'll try to stop and back up down here to make that solid stitch at the end. So that's what the stitch work looks like along there. It worked quite well. Very satisfied with that. have the leather pants sewed together. You can see the stitch along here, what it looks like. I used a zigzag stitch. So I went ahead and sewed it, have everything sewed up here. Stitched it right here to keep this from pulling open up this way. You have to leave the crotch area open somewhat like this because this actually curves under you somewhat, and you'll just want to try different ways of how they fit if you make something like this, because you have to sit down in it, of course, and everything has to bend and fold in place the way it'll be comfortable for you. So you have to try them on and off multiple times. Of course, the belt loops are here to keep them from falling down. The leather as it exists like this will work with the protective pants I made inside and actually function as leather for the hip protection and for the knee protection. So I've tried them on. They fit in the pants I wear quite well. If you wear tight pants, they're not going to work at all. But a relaxed fit pants in the size that you wear may or may not work for you. You'll just have to try them. Otherwise, you'd have to get a size or two up to make them work. They work for me. I wear a 36, 34. And since most pants are relaxed nowadays, that's simply what I end up with. And they fit just fine. That is complete. And I'll try them on in the pants here in a bit with the pads and show you everything put together. Okay, this is what it looks like with the leather in here. So the big large piece of leather, the 4 panels of leather I stitched together, you can see the belt loops back here for it. The leather comes down to right in here on the front and comes down a little shorter in the back. You saw that when I made them. So that's the full outfit. Your whole backside frontal area down below the knees is all leather. Another way you can install these chaps are to put a nylon belt, or it could be a leather belt. I think the nylon belt will be more comfortable, through the loops. The loops in this condition will stand upright rather than bent over as you had them on your pants. You'll have a pair of suspenders or braces like this, and you'll hook them up to it. And as you can see, this is how they fit. And it may make it a little bit easier taking them in and out of your pants this way. Anyway, it's up to you. It's just another alternative. I haven't changed anything on the chaps. All I've done was put a different type of belt through here and used a pair of suspenders. It's just another way they can be used. Now I'll sit down in them and you'll see that they stay in place. No problem. And they add a certain amount of protection for your legs. I've got a clip on these here holding them together right here for the video, but your pants will hold that area together when you're wearing them. So it's just another way you can wear this garment if you choose to make it. Let's go for a ride. Say it's a beautiful day out in Minnesota. I'm along the Great River Road, taking a ride along the beautiful Mississippi River. It's February. It's winter in Minnesota. I've got the full gear on that I made. The knee pads, the hip pads, all of it worn for about 40 miles down the highway now, and everything feels fine. I also have the leather on. You can see the belt loops. I've got the full leather on. It was nice and warm when I started out. It was 36 degrees. It felt really good to have it on. Can't tell you how it'll work if it's 80 degrees. I don't generally go motorcycling if it's much over 80 degrees. But anyway, it all seems to work fine, but you definitely know that you have it on. So you want to definitely have the pants sized right and feel it along the way as you make them to see if everything's fitting correctly. I want to thank you for watching. I hope I entertained you, and keep on riding.